Thank you so much for joining me today at Everyday Yoga. My name is Christine. My pronouns are she and her, and we are going to do a yummy, gentle, soft, slow, restorative practice. Gather all of your bolsters, your blocks, your pillows, and especially for tonight, we're going to use a blanket. So grab a blanket. And for your back, you can do a couple of different things. You'd either need 2 blocks or at least 1 bolster or a couple of pillows, and I'll show you why. So I've got my yoga blanket right here. We're gonna open it up almost all the way. So my blanket is folded in half. And I'm going to bring the fringy end closest to me. So whatever is your open end of your blanket. And we're just gonna fold it in a couple of inches, and we're gonna make the longest, skinniest burrito you ever saw. Or maybe something else that rolls up. Let's see, in my teenage years, what would that be called? Is that a blunt? I can't remember. You can see how
a doobie.
Pardon?
A doobie.
A doobie? Well, I think that's just a joint specifically, but there was some particular term for a ginormous one. I can't remember. I could Google it if I wanted to, but I'll probably forget. So we're going to take this nice long, which is now like a 3 or 4 inch thick, long skinny bolster, and we're going to put it down at the bottom third of the yoga mat where your legs are going to be. And then we're either going to take 2 blocks and set it up for your back body in a supported fish posture. So that will look different for everybody depending on what feels good to you. You might want both blocks in the lowest position. You might want the top one in the medium position. You could have both blocks in the medium position. You can have them crossways like that, or you can have it lengthwise down your spine. You could even take the top block up to the highest position. This would be for your head, and this will be for your shoulder blades. If using blocks, go ahead and get those set up. If you don't have blocks, just stack a couple of folded blankets or pillows or a nice bolster that you like to lay back on. So we've got our long skinny blanket down at the bottom. We've got our blocks at the top. I always suggest putting it on the lowest setting to begin with, and then moving up from there. So center yourself on your mat with your feet on the mat, your knees pointed up to the sky, and bring the center of that long skinny blanket around the front of your ankles. And then we're gonna draw it up alongside our hips where you can still hold it. And then bring yourself down to one forearm and then the other. And bring your fingertips to the block underneath your shoulder blades, or maybe you're lying back on a bolster at this point. And you want that bottom edge to be right about at the bottom of the shoulder blades. And then, gotta move that clip out of my hair here. I'm gonna bring my head to the bottom block. And I can already feel like I maybe wanna go a little higher in that block under the head. And I want to rest the base of the skull right up on top of that block. And you might need to mess around with it a little bit. There we go. So you're resting in the supported fish posture. Make sure you feel nice and comfortable and supported. And then we're going to reach down for the ends of the blanket and walk the feet in just a bit, just so that you can press into the feet and lift the hips like you're coming into bridge pose. And then you're going to tuck the 2 ends right underneath the 2 buttocks so that they are alongside the sacrum. So your sacrum is floating free. You're supported and gently massaged, kind of like a foam roller that's got no movement, just resting here. And then you can stay right here, or you can wiggle your feet towards one another so you can bring the soles together and take the knees out to either side. Coming into reclined Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose. I'm gonna mess around a little bit with that block underneath my shoulder blades because it's not quite, there we go. That's better. So you want the heart lifted here. You want the chin gently tucked so that the neck is long. Open up your arms to the sky and just let your arms be heavy. And then begin to notice your breath. We're going to be here for some time, so make sure you do whatever is necessary to feel really comfortable and supported here. So this will be a very yin practice for nurturing yourself, for taking care of yourself. My daughter and I were just talking about how sometimes we have needs that should have been fulfilled probably by somebody else, but for whatever reason, they have not fulfilled those needs. And I'm speaking here about parents more likely than not, and those deep childhood wounds that we have, when all we really want is to feel valued by the most important people in our lives, the people who are supposed to love us and take care of us. And sometimes we just don't get that. And oftentimes we don't get that. So we have to figure out a way to heal ourselves. And that begins with connecting to yourself. So let's begin to connect to ourselves here. Connecting to your body, connecting to your breath. Imagine you've got a Bluetooth signal and you're turning on the signal, looking for the device. And you see the flashing light or the three little dots. And then hear the word or see the word connected. Let yourself connect to yourself. Shed all the roles you play, employee, assistant, accountant, whatever your career or job is, just drop that for now. Maybe you're a spouse or a parent. Certainly you're an adult child of a parent. You might be a healthcare worker or a teacher. You might be a good girl or a bad boy. Whatever labels, whatever roles you play, just set those all aside and connect to yourself here, physically, viscerally, in the present moment. Soften your jaw. Maybe open and close your mouth a couple of times. Rocking your jaw back and forth a little, side to side. Make some circles. If you're making circles, change directions. And then take your fingers, give them a wiggle, stretch your arms out wide, and bring your hands over your face and rub your palms together. Warming your palms up. Begin to feel the temperature change. And then take your warmed up palms and just cup them over your eyes. You might touch the skin of your face, or you might just float the hands over the eyes. And just let yourself come into this little dark place. Feel what you feel. And then gently remove your hands, but keep your eyes closed, and bring your fingertips to your hairline above your brows. Just begin to massage across the hairline. And always remember that if you become uncomfortable in this posture, maybe explore if it's discomfort or pain, and certainly if it's pain, go ahead and come out of it and come to Shavasana or whatever posture feels good to you. But we're going to keep moving those fingertips down along the temples, across the front of the ears, down into the jaw. Maybe take your fingertips right under the ear and that little divot at the hinge of the jaw, and just gently massage there. And then take your jawbone between your thumb and fingertips and just kind of massage out along the jaw, all the way down to the chin. And then your fingertips can come to the bridge of your nose here. And just making some little gentle circles, perhaps go across the eyebrows. And again, down to the temples. And maybe slow it down and savor this. You've already given it a first pass, so what places were kind of tender and crying out for your attention, for you to nurture it, for you to take care of your needs. Forgiveness is letting go of the need for the past to have been different. It cannot possibly be. We can let it go by acknowledging it should have been different, but it wasn't. But we can change things today. We can take care of ourselves today. And then take your hands and just run them alongside your neck, your throat. And then bring your right hand to your left shoulder and your left hand to your right shoulder, and just gently massage the shoulders and across the collarbones, down towards the heart. And then let's bring the right hand and then the left hand right over the heart. Take a deep breath. Realign your neck. I notice my chin is jutting up towards the sky, but let's tuck those chins again, lengthening the neck. And connect to yourself. Release your hands. Let your arms gently float down towards the earth. Let's take 3 nice big cleansing breaths here. Big, big inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth with a big sigh. Then stretch the arms out and begin to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. And we'll bring the hands down towards the legs and bring the knees up towards one another again if they're not already. Let's go ahead and Reach down for the edges of the blanket, press into the feet, lift the hips gently off the blanket. Bring the tailbone down to your mat and roll off your supports and the top of the body to one side or the other, and just kind of reach back there and ease them out from under you. And for a moment, we'll just set all of our devices, all of our props aside. And we'll inhale and take a big, big, long, good morning stretch, reaching up towards the sky. And then we'll bend the knees and bring them up towards the heart. Give yourself a little hug, rock back and forth. Rotate the ankles in one direction and then the other. And then we'll just make some circles on the ceiling with the knees, nice and slow. You might slow it down and move with your breath and connect with yourself here. Connect with your low back, with your spine, with your sacrum, your sit bones, your hips. Inhale as you straighten the elbows and circle around through one side. Exhale as you bend the elbows, draw the knees up towards the heart through the opposite side. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and reverse the directions of the circles. And we're going to be using another bolster, or if you have a long foam roller like I'm going to use tonight, that's going to be our next fun little prop to play with. So when you feel like you are even in both directions, give yourself another hug, invite your nose to your knees, realign hips, spine, neck, and roll yourself up to sitting or rock and roll up and down your spine. Maybe give yourself a little spinal snap, crack, pop as you roll up and down. And then we're going to come to some kind of long, skinny support. So one option, you might just simply use the little blanket that you just made and bring it down the center of your mat lengthwise. Or you could use a thicker bolster like I have over here in the corner, or a thinner bolster, or I have a really firm foam roller here. Whatever you do, have your blocks or a pillow or folded blanket or something up here towards the top of the mat where your head is going to be. And you want to be sitting on whatever support you choose. So mine's really long and I am pretty short. So I probably won't need the blocks, but we'll see. So just sit on the edge of your bolster, block, blanket, foam roller, whatever you have, and bring your feet to the mat, bring your palms down. You might even open up the heart here a little bit and rock gently side to side on whatever support you have, or if you've got a more stationary support, you could just kind of gently move a little bit, settle in, rock the hips a little from side to side like you're wagging your tail in downward dog. And then we'll begin to lower ourselves right on down to whatever support you have, so that the lengthwise, it's going lengthwise up your spine. And as you can see, I did not need the additional support of the blocks up here. But if your bolster's shorter or you're taller, you might. So make sure that your head and your neck are well supported. And for here on the foam roller, there's a little gentle movement. But if you're lying on a bolster or something, obviously you'll be nice and stationary. So just make sure you feel settled and secure and balanced. And you can keep your knees pointed up to the sky with your soles of your feet on the mat. Or you could heel toe those feet out a little wider so that those knees can come in to rest on one another in that constructive rest posture. So the two knees are falling in together and releasing that hip flexor. You can keep the palms down on the mat alongside you, or you can turn the palms up towards the sky and open up across the heart and shoulders. Connect to your breath again. Take an inhale. Exhale, let it go. And then we'll come back to breathe in the nose. And just let yourself melt here. Let your arms be really heavy. Relax the skin of the face, the forehead, the eyes, the skin around the eyes. Relax the jaw, the cheeks, the throat. And just let yourself be still here. In fact, when I say just let yourself be still, that's kind of silly because it's one of the hardest things for us to do is just be still. We always, at least me, I'm speaking from personal experience, but I know plenty of people feel the need to be busy, busy, busy all the time, to prove their worth, to prove their value, to prove their independence and their capability, or maybe as a distraction from other things that they don't want to think about or feel. So being still can create lots of thoughts running across the mind. So just honor those thoughts and let yourself know that the thoughts are simply what you're thinking, meaning they're not reality in this moment. In this moment, the only reality is your breath and your body as you gently melt towards the reality of the earth, the support underneath you. And again, always remember you can come out of any posture that's no longer serving you when your body tells you it's time. It's another step of reconnecting to yourself, is trusting yourself. Trusting your body when it tells you it has a need that you can meet. Meeting your own needs is very empowering. You build trust in yourself. Again, reconnecting to yourself. And if you feel like you want to go a little deeper into those hip flexors, you could extend one leg and just see how that feels. I'm extending my left leg out. I've still got my right knee bent for some support so that I can be anchored to the earth, especially since I'm on this roller. If you're on something stationary or you feel secure on the roller, you might even extend both knees. If you find again that that does not feel good to you, come back to both knees bent or one at a time. In fact, I think I will come back to both knees bent. Whenever you're ready, I'm just going to go ahead and begin to come off your support. So you can back out of it the same way you came into it, pressing into your forearms, tucking your chin deeply and rolling upward. Or you can roll to one side or the other and just move it out from underneath you. And again, we're gonna transition here, finding that big, big, big good morning stretch, wiggling those toes, wiggling those fingers. And then you're gonna wanna roll to one side or the other because we're gonna come on over to the belly. Go ahead and find whatever child's pose is your favorite. If you want that to be supported on a bolster, go ahead and do that. In fact, let's all use the props that we have out, maybe the one you just came off. And you can take your big toes together and your knees out wide. And we're just gonna walk ourselves down, and you might need to adjust the flesh of the breasts or the belly so that you're not feeling too compressed here, but you do want that compression on the low belly. And we're just gonna let those hands rest to the mat. And this is a really thick bolster for me, so I'm gonna take my blocks alongside the bolster so that my hands can rest comfortably down. And they can really relax. So however you need to find ease here, we're just going to turn the gaze to one side or the other and rest the temple or the cheek. Take a nice big inhale here and really invite the breath down into the low belly. Notice the compression of the bolster on your belly. And this is at the core of ourselves, the center of ourselves, part of ourselves that is developed through our childhood. The sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the parts of ourselves that help us to regulate our emotions and our creativity. And help us to tap into our own sense of will, our ability to act on our own behalf, our sense of ego. And so just thinking about nurturing and protecting this part of yourself. Energetically, yes, but also physically, compressing the digestive organs, the ascending and descending colon, helping you to digest food, process it, eliminate it. And then energetically, the same thing. Process the things that we're taking in, digesting feelings and needs and media and all the things we bring into our daily experience. And eliminating what does not serve us. We're also massaging those internal organs, massaging the lymph nodes that reside in the abdomen, helping to filter out toxins and cellular debris. So while to the untrained eye, you might look like you're not doing much of anything right here, you are actually doing a very courageous act of self-care. Being still. Paying attention to yourself. And then very gently, without disturbing yourself too much, just lift your head. Turn your gaze to the opposite side. Rest your temple, your cheek. And we'll be here for about the same amount of time as the first side. Maybe give yourself a little wiggle, a little shake, and check in for any places that have tightened up or tensed up. See where you can soften and invite yourself to relax deeply. Check in with the jaw, shoulders, the hips. Invite the breath deep into the low belly and notice what expands. Notice the hips, the low back. Breathing deeply like this into the low back is like giving yourself a massage from the inside out. So really expand, massaging those tissues. And deeply relax as you exhale. Just be here for 5 or so more breaths. Really breathing deeply and intentionally and paying attention to your sensations in your body. Connecting with them. We connect with each other when we feel seen, when we feel heard. So taking the time to see and listen to yourself is how you reconnect to yourself. I'm going to begin to come out of this posture. Use your inhale to press yourself back up. Press into the floor alongside your support. Rotate your arms so that the insides of the elbows are pointing forward and the shoulder blades are coming down your back. Tuck your chin. Inhale, draw the heart forward, gentle back bend, little cow pose. Exhale, chin to chest, belly button towards the spine. Press into the fingers, press into the palms. Little cat back. Let's do that again a couple times. Inhaling the heart forward. Exhale, round back. One more time, moving really slowly and intentionally with your breath. And then we'll walk the hands up the thighs. Press the support out of the way. And we'll come right down to our final Shavasana. Now, I know that you're probably thinking, why do we need a resting pose after all we have been resting? But what we have been doing here is taking postures where everything is all folded up, all bent up. Our knees are bent, our groin. So let's go ahead and come on down to the mat and think about yourself and all the blood vessels, all the lymphatic passageways, all of the nerves, everything running along your body, miles and miles and miles, thousands of miles. And how we've been sitting and standing all day and cutting off flow to those areas of our body. So not only are we allowing our nervous system to rest in Shavasana and allowing ourselves another chance to connect with ourselves here, but we're also unkinking all of the hoses. We're taking that hose out in the backyard that's been all kinked up all winter, and we're smoothing it out so that the water can flow. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Drop it like a heavy book. Practice stillness. Practice being in your body and feeling the sensations. Whatever those sensations are, when we feel pain, we can practice called BRFA. BRFA? It's a very strange acronym. B stands for breathe. The R stands for relax. The F stands for feel. The W stands for watch. And the A stands for allow. And we can use that when we're feeling physical pain, as well as emotional pain, or any emotion. Anger, sadness, joy. And the W, which is watch or witness, I always just kind of thought of as what, but how is that any different than feeling it or allowing it? Well, I just got my answer today. Every human experience, every single one, a stress experience of our nervous system, an emotional experience, anything we have in our lives has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so maybe we're experiencing anxiety. As we practice the W, the watching, the witnessing, what that is watching that there is a beginning and a middle and an end, always. I find that very reassuring, because sometimes when we have something like anxiety happen, it can feel overwhelming and like it's never going to end. But when we really witness it, we can see, yes, it does end. So whether that emotion is anger or sadness or grief, we can breathe, relax into the feeling, and then really feel the feeling. Witness the beginning, the middle, and the end. And just allow the process to happen. Being accepting of that process. Maybe even grateful for it. Letting it be an opportunity to heal. Let's go ahead and wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, stretch out really, really long. Take your arms and legs out wide into a big X marks the spot position, and then draw the right arm and right leg over towards the left side of the body. Get a nice big stretch lengthwise down the whole right side of the body. You could even interlace your fingers and cross your right ankle over the left. Take 2 big breaths right here. And then we'll inhale back out to that X marks the spot. Exhale, left arm, left shoulder over towards the right. Wiggle toes and fingers. Maybe interlace those fingers and cross the left ankle over the right one. And if you're interlacing those fingers, switch it up. Bring your non-dominant thumb on top. Change some neural pathways or strengthen some. Couple breaths right there. And then we'll inhale back to your X marks the spot shape. Bend one knee and then the other. Roll to your favorite side. Big breath right here before you press yourself all the way back up to a tall seat. Let's finish in Dandasana, staff posture. Coming to sit with your legs extended, toes pointing up towards the sky. Oh, Miranda, I just realized I had changed the focus on the camera, so it's probably blurry. I apologize, folks, if that is the case. Learning. Let's sit up nice and tall. Reach up towards the sky with your inhale. Bring your palms together. Exhale. Hands right down to meet your heart. The Sanskrit mantra, Shanti mantra, is Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu. And it translates from the Sanskrit to English to mean, may all beings everywhere, and that includes each of you, be happy and free. And may our thoughts, our words, our deeds, and our actions contribute to that in some way. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Namaste.